Let's make some birds with rocks. I'm Patti with Rocks Tell Stories, and today I have a full tutorial on how to make birds. And you might be surprised at the tips that I have to give you on where you can find the right shapes and what really works best. Birds are so fun to make because they're so easy. So you can take like almost any roundish rock and turn it into a bird just by adding a little triangle beak to it. So the trick is finding a triangle of the right size where it's really going to look authentic. So there's a beak. Does that look like a bird to you? A little flat here. Maybe birds aren't so flat on the bottom. So maybe we pick out a rock like this that's more roundish and add a beak to them. And then this beak is probably way too big, and so we can trade that out for a smaller beak. Here's a little tiny triangle. I just put a little beak in now. Doesn't he look much better? Much more like a bird. So birds are super easy, but let me give you a few tips. You know, if you find a rock that has a little more shape to it, a little more unusual, that's fun too, because then it's really adding some character to your birds. But when you just think you just need a little triangle for a beak and an oval rock for the body and you're done, that is pretty exciting. And then if you've got another kind of longish rock, maybe with some curve to it, you can add a wing to your bird by setting the rock on top. And look how darling that is. So just by having 3 rocks there, super cute. And if you're on a white card, you could get a marker or a pen and then just draw some little tiny legs and feet and maybe some little song notes up here. So he's tweet, tweet, tweet. And then you can write a little message. And if you just glue that onto your card, it's the cutest card ever. So handmade cards, super fun. Frame it up for a gift, really great. So let me give you a few tips on making birds. So you got the wing, you got the beak. The trick is finding the beaks. And so where do you find these little tiny triangles? And I want to tell you that in my backyard, we have some gravel on a road right by us. So probably you have some gravel near you somewhere, even if it's at the park. And gravel is fantastic for beaks. So I'll just sit down in the gravel and I will just push the gravel around until I find some triangles. And so this is just a handful out. So here's an interesting triangle, beak. There's one. And you could even use this guy. And I just sit there until I pull out all the triangles that I see. Oh, and that's like a heart rock. That's super cute. Teeny, teeny. This one looks a little roundish, so he'd make a better ear on a mouse, maybe. That one that's white, because it's not a flat side, it's harder for a beak, but it still works. When your eye sees something that looks familiar, the shape looks familiar, your eye is very forgiving and it won't care if it's not perfect. All we're trying to do is kind of just get the point across. That could be a beak. So do you see how I just went through a little bit of gravel here and bam, I had beaks. So some days I don't do rock art, I go do rock hunting. And I just go look for shapes. And the best shapes to find, of course, are always your long rocks, a tall skinny one of any length, you know, whether it be this length or if it be this length. Any long rock that you find you want to keep, because when it's time to do rock art, you'll have some supplies to play with. Okay, so do you see how easy it is to find some beaks? So let's keep our beaks that we found. We'll put the rest back in our little container. Anything you're gonna throw away, I try to take the label off, but you don't have to. And then I've got a container for my rocks. Oh, look at this one. I thought this was a rock, but it looks like it was a snail shell. Can you see that? Teeny tiny little snail shell. So sweet. Bet we could use that for our art. You're saying, wait, I saw another triangle in there. So once you have a bunch of triangles, then you can just start playing with the rocks. Now, if you get a very round rock, this still has an oval shape, so it will work. And you put a beak on it, ta-da, bird. But when you get a more oval-ish rock, like this has more of an oval shape to it, it starts to feel a little bit more like a bird. So be looking for these kind of oval shapes or even towards a triangular shape. This is a super cute bird. Okay, the beaks are too big, but I just want you to notice that there's a lot of different kind of rocks. Each of these work for birds. And these you can just find outside anywhere, okay? So let's put some birds on a wire. And so that means I'm going to go find a stick. So I found this pretty stick because it had these dried berries on it. So cute. Let's try that. Can't put too many birds on that one. And since it's a smaller stick, we're gonna want to use smaller birds. So we'll just get this little rock and stick him in there. And then he's gonna want a little beak. So maybe this one. We'll put the little beak on. Looks like he's singing up. And maybe we should put another little bird on there. Which one do we want to use? This is a smaller rock. Put that there. Remember the tummy part or the chest? We're going to want to put on the bottom and the more flat part on top. This is not a very good example. And if we do it this way, it could be cute too. Either way, it just gives them all personality. Well, since they're sitting on the branch, I like to have the heavier part of the rock sitting on the branch because gravity does that to us, right? Okay, and there's a little beak. And then we could even have a bird's nest if we wanted to. And so I found these acorn shells. So cute. Been dying to use them. Just the heads of the tops of the acorn. And that could be like the little bird's nest. And since those birds are so tiny, we would just need a little tiny one. And that could be their nest. And then we would need to find some really teeny tiny rocks to be the eggs in there, which I didn't really find yet, but this was in the gravel. You could stick your little egg in the nest. Okay, that's getting cute, don't you think? And you could have other birds, but we need a better branch. Like that bird is gonna break the branch. He's so big, but he's so cute. Okay, that's pretty cute. There's our birds. If we wanted to put little wings on them, we could. Do we have any cute little wings? Like that could be a wing. Since it's kind of curved, that'd be really super cute. So I'll just sit them on there. We've got a little wing in there. And I'm lucky to have these tiny rocks. That was supposed to be a beak, right? But since this little bird's so tiny, let's see if it could be a wing too. Super cute. That's totally a wing. Should we give a wing to this guy? What do you think? Oh, look how sweet those are. Oh my gosh, that's darling. If you were to glue that down onto just a little whiteboard and put a frame around it, it'd be the cutest picture. And then, did you see the video I did on making cats? Cats are so fun. So let me, just as a little bonus, let me just throw some cats in here. Again, these little beaks, these triangles for beaks also make wonderful cat ears. So let's say there's a cat down here that's looking up at the birds, then we would need to put some cat ears on him and a little cat head. And so here's a perfect beak, right? But we're gonna use it for an ear instead. And then we could go find another ear. Should have done this ahead of time for you, huh? So you could see exactly how this would work out. But there you go. He looks more like a bat because those ears are so big, like we talked about in the cat video tutorial. But that's what I have right here. So you could have a little cat that is sitting on a rock and looking up at the birds. So you could just put a little rock, grab a rock, and let him have a chair, place to sit. So now your little picture is just getting even cuter. And I just found these rocks. I just have to show you. Okay, these are pretty big cats, but look at this. This is a pretty big rock. But it's so interestingly shaped, right? It's got all these curves and lines. So I thought, oh, that would make the cutest cat. So I'm gonna put a little cat head on him. I'm gonna steal his ears so we can do this quickly. We'll take him away. And then he's got a girlfriend, and this cute little cat can just nuzzle right in. She's got a little head and just push up against him to show love. Remember, when heads touch, that's showing caring. And we could get two little, those work for beaks for birds or ears for cats. So cute. And she needs a tail. Look at at this neat rock. Really big and chunky. I picked that right up when I saw that. Didn't know what it'd be for, but look, it fits right there for her tail. And he needs a tail. And I also found this unusual rock, kind of curved, and sometimes you have to turn them around a bunch until you find the right way to fit in your art. Isn't that so cute? And they're looking up at the birds. So just so easy to make the birds and so fun. If you're going to stack your rocks and put the wing on top of the bird body, you're going to want to probably glue them together. And my favorite thing to use is this stuff called sticky putty. This is about $5 on Amazon, and it's got a whole sheet of putty. And when you pull the putty out, it looks like this, because I've been playing with this. And you can just it's just really stretchy like bubble gum, but it's not messy like bubble gum. So I'm just going to take a little tiny piece of it, here it is, and roll it. And so the more when you stretch it and roll it, then it just makes it stick better. And then you just stick it to one side. I hope you've washed your rocks, because the dust and dirt on your rocks will get on this and won't stick very well. And it makes your hands dry. And then you just push it down where you want to stick it, and then it stays. And then it's temporary, but it doesn't fall off. Super helpful when you're trying to do rock art. So that is like the cutest picture. I just think it's so cute. We could add to that picture just a saying right in here, a quote. Even if you just said, "I love you," and put your name, and then you gave that to somebody, it would be the most darling gift. And look how fast we did it. It's all about collecting rocks, being outside a lot. And whenever you go, I've got a Ziploc in my pocket, and I'm just putting rocks that I notice on the ground. If they're long and skinny, I pick it up and I keep it. If it's kind of oval, I keep it, because I know it's going to be a head of an animal or a person or a bird. There's so many uses for the round rocks and the long rocks. And then the tiny little things, you can either draw them with a pencil, or you can go sit in the gravel and get tiny little rocks like I do. Okay, do you think you can do it? I just think it's so fun. I hope you will. And I hope you will post your pictures and hashtag them rockstellstories.com, because then I'll be able to see all the pictures that you make. And please subscribe to these videos. That's how I'm able to make more. So just press the subscribe button and the little bell button by it, so you'll be notified when my next video is out to show you what to do. And then of course there's the ebooks that are very inexpensive, that give you the step-by-step instructions and handouts, printable black and white pages along with full color and links to all the videos on how to do these. So pick up your ebooks at rockstellstories.com, or just subscribe to see all the videos that come in. Hey, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.